Paranormal Dimensions is a regular feature on Mondays on the Paranormal UK radio network.
Hello, this is Michael Feely and you're listening to the Paranormal UK radio network, the UK's biggest paranormal network, and this is Paranormal Dimensions with David Young.
Hello, welcome to the show. Thank you for the intro, Michael. Right, now before we get going, some call outs for a few people. We've got Juliet Gregson in Blackpool, Lancashire, UK, Chrissy B, Southend-on-Sea, Essex, UK, and Jules Button, Woodbridge, Suffolk, UK. Hello to all of you. Now, today we've got a lovely guest again. It's Caz Rooney. Quite a few people out there will actually recognise the name. She's actually a radio presenter in her own right. Parasearch radio presenter, I believe it is. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to introduce Caz Rooney. Hello, Caz.
Hello, David.
Hello, nice to speak to you. As I
Nice
say,
to speak
we
to
were
you.
just saying just before we came on air, we've never spoken to each other before. We've known
No.
about each other for a little while, but never actually got the chance to have a chat to each other. So here we are.
That is true.
Now you're a radio presenter in your own right, aren't you? Is it Parasearch Radio?
I was working for Parasearch, and when I left there, I started working with Ghost Call Radio.
Ah, right, okay.
Ghost Call Radio went on a break for about 6 months, so I didn't see the need to continue with it. But I am looking at coming back into radio.
Oh yeah, oh, good idea. Maybe try this network.
Yeah, maybe.
have a chat with Irene. But I mean, do you want to tell us a bit about the sort of, because you do paranormal investigations? What is that? Does that ghost hunting and stuff?
Yeah, I've done investigations for a few years now. I do enjoy the investigating. I haven't done an awful lot this year. Family matters took priority this year, so I've been kind of quiet. But I really do enjoy my investigating.
Yeah, have you had any really sort of, what should we say, not terrifying, but interesting results from your investigations?
Yeah, I've been hit with a torch a couple of times.
Yeah. Oh, wow, really? What,
Yeah.
a flying torch?
Yeah, flying torch.
Wow.
The first time I did blame myself, I thought, well, I didn't place it properly and it came off.
Mm.
And when I picked it up, luckily there was about 5 other people in the room with me. It was actually in Philip's bedroom in 30 East Drive, and I put it back again. But I placed it, and I kind of kept my hand there for a second to make sure it was okay. And I turned round, this torch came flying off and hit me again. And I thought, no, that wasn't me that time. So.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I went to one in Carlisle, a ghost hunt, right up there, and they had mag lights sort of set around all over the place, and these mag lights were going on and off to like questions being asked. I mean, I'd never seen that before, and I thought that was, well, it blew my mind, actually. You know, because obviously, you have to twist the back on a mag light.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, I've got no explanation for that. It could have been trickery of any type, you know, because you'd need some sort of like a remote device to turn them on and off. And they were a straight company, you know, I think it was, was it simply UK? I can't remember. I think, no, I think it was the Scottish Ghost Nights or something.
Ah, okay.
Very good they were.
Yeah, this is the thing, I mean, even, it's a good thing no matter what happens. I mean, like that with the torch, or what happened with you with those lights, it's good to question it even when it happens. You've got to question it, because you can't just automatically go, well, it's something paranormal. So, you do question it.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually saying they were asking a question, and it's like was going off and then coming on another one, you know, and it was really fascinating to see. And I saw the same thing happening with now you can't fake a candle flame, can you?
No.
But I was watching a candle flame climbing high and going down right low, so it was almost going out, you know, in answer to questions. That was another very interesting
yeah.
thing, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it would be even more interesting if a candle had left the side and floated in the air, but just seeing the flame going up and down to like questions was actually quite amazing, you know.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I think most people think, not all paranormal TV shows. I would like to point that out, but there are some where the activity is quite extreme, and I think people think that's the way it's meant to be. But it's actually very subtle. Sometimes it's very, very subtle.
Yeah.
The things that happen.
I mean, I was talking to Kieran Woodhouse recently. I think he was on last week's show, and actually he's been to quite a few of those, obviously investigations.
Yeah.
And what we were saying was that a lot of those TV shows, you see like Most Haunted and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're only seeing it within like a 45-minute show, something that's happened all overnight, you know, so it looks like there's a lot going on, but really probably the rest of the evening they were sort of sitting around bored or, you know, nothing happening.
Yeah, sitting drinking tea, having a chat, eating biscuits.
Mean, it's like I was saying before, I mean, you go on some of these ghost hunts, it gets a bit, sometimes it gets a bit boring, doesn't it? You think, oh, nothing's happening, let's just pack up and go home, you know, and then so all of a sudden, it'll just something will pique your interest.
This is the thing, it's usually when you get to a point where you think, well, this is really boring, nothing's going to happen. Things start happening.
Yeah, you're sitting around getting cold and thinking, oh, you know,
yeah. I was actually discussing with someone last night because I'd been at East Drive for 2 nights, and there's this weird thing going on with the front door. I don't know what it is. Literally, we've checked this door and we can't find anything wrong with the door. We've unlocked it. If you're going out for a cigarette, you'll go out front because there's a big bucket there. So you're not smoking in the house. But I mean, there was 4 of us trying to get the front door open and couldn't get it open. And there was 2 guys who were actually outside who were with us trying to get it open from the outside, and they couldn't get it open. And yet every other time we went, we could just open it.
That's weird, isn't it?
It was really frustrating because we were trying to get out the door and we couldn't get out.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that bucket's quite handy if you feel sick as well, isn't it? But anyway,
yeah,
we won't
probably.
go there. But, anyway, we were online last night. I mean, you were talking about something about, was it Fred West's shoes being used? I mean, what's going on there?
Okay, there seems to be a little trend going on at the moment, which is how low can we go?
Yeah.
That's what I've been calling it, basically. And it's using the most vile things to get views and likes, and we had the Myra Hindley live thing, and now we've got the Fred West with shoes thing. It was actually a Ouija board with the shoes.
How do you use the Ouija board with shoes? I'm trying to sort of get my head around that.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I'm looking at it and thinking, this is completely ridiculous. What are they doing? But according to the team involved, he did come through, and in their words, he's as vile in the afterworld as he is in life. I believe that's what they said, and I thought, there is a family connection. I do have to point that out. Within the team, there's a family connection.
Right.
To Fred West. So, because you're going to get the usual, how do you know it's Fred West shoes? And quite rightly so, but there is a family connection. So, maybe they were.
Yeah, I mean,
but I
obviously,
don't believe it.
No, you can't. I mean, that's what it comes down to in the end. You actually believe what's going on, but I suppose you got to accept things at face value sometimes if you can believe, you know, if you can trust the people that are involved. Just for American and also people around the world, Fred West was one of our notorious serial killers from a few years back.
Yes.
In case you've never heard of him.
I think this is why people are reacting so badly to things like this, with the case of like the Myra Hindley live. by a certain team, and this Fred West with the shoes from a certain team. The problem being is there is still victims, family members alive today being affected by that. So this is why, personally for me, I think it's crossing a line, it's disgusting, it's somewhere you do not go.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't go, do not go there.
Because I mean, it's still quite, not like long ago really, is it, you know?
There is victims of Fred West alive. They're still alive today, and I mean, do you really want them to see something like that?
Yeah. No, I fully agree with you. Yeah.
No, it's just something you don't do, but this is what it's all about apparently.
Yeah.
There was a Ouija board and Fred West shoes and...
Yeah. All right, we'll leave that alone, but... we'll
leave that alone.
How do you feel about Ouija boards in general?
This is a strange one, because my dad, rest his soul, always brought me up with the belief that Ouija boards were really, really, really bad. And I kind of stuck to that. I stuck to that for so many years. I was like, no, you don't know what you're messing with. You shouldn't mess with things you don't know how to control, and you don't know who you're inviting in, and all of that. But as the years have went on, I actually had one. I actually just gifted it to a fellow investigator last week, Becky. I sent it to Becky because it doesn't get used. I bought it for going on investigations because some people were coming along going, haven't you got a Ouija board?
I see.
But it's a tool like anything else. That is the way I view it now. It is a tool like anything else, but it doesn't really interest me. They're too easily manipulated. The planchett's too easily manipulated. Even subconsciously, your brain could move that without you even thinking about it. You think you're being still, but the slightest vibration could move that. So I don't really put too much into them. I'm like, well, it's just a tool like anything else.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. I mean, because obviously we call it Ouija board, but in actual fact it's a spirit board, isn't it? Ouija was actually the first producer of it. But yeah, I know what you mean, because sometimes when I've been in those, I call them Ouija sessions, you think, am I pushing it, or is it somebody else pushing it? You tend to get to a point where everyone's lifting their finger off on it at times to say, no, it's not me, you know?
Yeah.
And, but then again, you do get some results sometimes that you think, well, where could that have come from? You know, in fact, I'll do just a little tally. It's only a couple of minutes. One of the sessions I did when I was a teenager, actually, that was probably about 20 years, we did a session, and there was a fellow there, a friend of ours, who didn't believe any of it, you know. And we said to him, I said, well, go and sit in the corner over there and write something on a piece of paper, and we'll see if we can find out what you've said. Using it wasn't Ouija board, we were putting number, cards around the table and thing with a glass in the middle. And anyway, to cut a long story short, he went over in the corner, sitting there with a pen and paper. We asked the spirit, what was it he's just written? And it spelled out G-U-N, gun. And we looked at each other, well, we said, have you written down gun? And he went white as a sheet, held up a picture, he'd drawn a picture of a gun.
Wow.
So that's kind of,
that's interesting.
We all looked at each other in amazement, packed up and went home, you know. But,
that was enough then.
Yeah, no, it was actually one of those things that there was no way that we could have sort of fixed that. So how we explain that, I don't know, but you know, it certainly convinced him anyway. You know.
But this is the thing, David, isn't it? That's the things that are interesting. The things you can't explain. You could go over it a million different ways and still come up with no plausible explanation. That's the things that are really interesting.
Unless he and his wife fixed it in the first place before they came in or something, which I don't think so, because he was just so adamant that he didn't believe it all, you know. And that would mean that he's got to admit he believes it, you know, so. Yeah. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. Anyway, enough about me. Let's have more about you.
What about me?
I think you mentioned to me that you're into paganism as well. Is that right?
Yeah, that was a natural progression. I always counted myself as being spiritualist. I was actually brought up Roman Catholic, but I always counted myself as spiritualist. I've always believed in the spirit world. To me, there is our world and their world, and they run parallel. We're right next to each other. I've always kind of believed that from being young, but as the years have gone on, I've realised that more and more things that are actually me, that I'm actually pagan. And it kind of progressed from there. Once I started embracing that side of my beliefs, I feel more comfortable in my own skin. Can't say my children do. I mean, when they're bringing friends in, the friends are like, why is there a weird broom thing next to your front door? I'm certainly more comfortable in my skin.
Yeah. I mean, how did that first come about in you, that you thought you were believed your paganism?
Do you know what? I've been getting around, this is going to sound like the strangest thing. I've always been this big fan of scrying.
Oh, right.
I do love fire scrying. That actually started as a teenager. We had moved into a new house, and the house had a coal fire. So I've grew up my teenage years in this house and discovered fire scrying because of the coal fire. But I've noticed all these little things that I've done for years that are just eccentric to other people. I hate walking around with things on my feet. I've got to walk barefoot. I'm happiest when I'm in my garden. If literally you look at my profile, from a minute the weather turns good until it goes bad, you will see I'm actually in my garden as much as I can be.
Yeah, you're a bit like me. I like to soak up the sun, as they say.
This is the thing, I love growing my own things. There's something very grounding about growing your own things from seeds. It's like going for walks in the woods, things like that. All those things, everything connected to nature is where I'm happy.
You feel you can connect to nature that way?
Yes, yeah. It's almost like a form of meditation to me. So when I'm doing things like that, I'm very, very grounded and it's where I'm happiest.
Explain, I don't quite understand fire scrying. I've never actually heard of that. What
you haven't tried fire scrying? No. It's like every other kind of scrying. It's wide open to your own interpretation of it. What I found was if you concentrated on flames, some people do it with candles, some people do it with fires, log burners, whatever. But if you're kind of in a meditative state, you're looking at the fire, you can see images.
Right, yeah.
You can see faces and things. Now, it can be pareidolia, not saying it's always, but sometimes you can get a lot of information from scrying.
Yeah, it's funny. I'll tell you what, it's funny you say that. I can remember as a kid, I mean, it's only just come back to me as you've been saying that. I used to love to stare into a fire, for some reason, but without, I mean, I don't think there was anything, I don't know of anything spiritual in it, or if I saw anything, but I just was just attracted to looking in the fire. I don't know if there's something in that.
Well, when I was about 18, I went away to college. I believe I went away in April and I came back home to Scotland for Christmas. When I got in my parents' house in Christmas, found out the council had been and ripped out the coal fire and put in gas central heating. Oh, wow. And I was absolutely devastated because I'd been looking forward to going home to this big open fire.
So you must have been doing the same thing then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if there was some sort of message coming through into your head that you look into the fire and, I
still actually do it now. I mean, when I'm working in the garden, I will find bits and pieces of things that need burnt. So I have a big burn bin. And you tend to find, what the kids tend to find is when I start burning things, I'm there for hours. It's because I'm scrying.
Right.
I'm concentrating on the flames.
Yeah, I think we all like a little bit of a burn up, don't we? But
yeah.
I was wondering if it's anything to do with like the Guy Fawkes thing then.
Yeah, it's strange, but I mean, as the weather's turning now, we'll be able to do that so much.
Yeah, well, as long as it doesn't rain all the time, we're all right.
Yeah, well, It's the UK. What are the chances we're not getting rain?
So, is paganism kind of, in your mind, connected to witchcraft?
Yeah, it is witchcraft. I mean, but a lot of it's nature. A lot of it is nature, connecting to nature. I have this personal bugbear with, when you look at the world today, I mean, you look at how we are and everything's technology and everybody's got to have the best of this and the best of that, and you kind of look around outside at nature. You've got all these beautiful things. We've got everything we need to sustain us, but there's technology's taken over and people have lost that connection to nature, which is really sad.
Yeah, everyone's staring at their cell phones now, aren't they? Everywhere you look.
I literally was decorating about a week and a half ago, and I was painting the ceiling in my living room, and there was like a little family of spiders. And as I'm going round with this roller, they're moving a bit. Ended up I had to move them outside because they were just trying to move away from me.
Right. They've been watching you.
Yeah, and it was kind of like I disturbed their home or something, so I had to put them outside. But people don't think of that. Everything these days is all technology and everything's disposable and can be replaced with something better, and I find that kind of sad. Yeah,
I think we're all disappearing into an electronic matrix, aren't we? I think it's
exactly.
But, yeah. So, as far as what about witchcraft again? Is there a black and a white witchcraft in your mind, or has it kind of been misunderstood in the past?
This is the thing. I mean, you've got many different types of witches. Put it that way. I mean, I would say I'm quite eclectic. I take the things that resonate with me and work for me, and follow my own little path. But black and white, I mean, you've got to look at it, it's with everything else, there's black and white with everything. It's yin and yang, there's always got to be a balance, which in itself is a big part of witchcraft. And everything else, there's always got to be this balance, so you could say there's black and white in everything.
Do you use tarot cards and things like that, or?
I do have 2 sets of tarot cards up, and I have one set of oracle cards. I don't use them that often.
Oh, you don't do readings for people or anything?
No, it's kind of, if I was asked to I would, but they are there. But I'm more interested in moon cycles and crystals and nature than I am tarot cards.
Yeah,
they are there.
As I say, crystals I find quite interesting because I don't really know a lot about them, but I do understand. Well, I try to understand some of them, but and we've got a few in our living room actually. But only because I've been told which ones are the best for you. I don't really know. Which ones are. I don't know the ins and outs of it really.
I've got a friend who runs a lovely little shop in Doncaster Town Centre. And she sells lots of crystals and witchy supplies and everything else. So when I need things like that, I go into her shop. I go into Beth's shop. But I've got them dotted all around my house. And the strange thing is I've got one of my daughters is very logical. She's everything's black and white with Olivia. There's no in between. She's always been a very logical thinker, but when she was sitting her GCSEs, she actually came to me and asked me for crystals when she was sitting her exams. For keeping her grounded and keeping her level.
And did it help, did she think?
She passed them all.
Oh, well, there you go then. Well, whether she would have passed them without that, it's quite likely, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I think she would have, but she seemed to find it quite, she's one of these kids that's over studious. She would literally study for hours and hours and hours, so, I was kind of glad when all that was over.
Yeah. Well, it probably made her relax knowing those crystals were there. That's probably more to it, isn't it? I would have thought.
Yeah. But it's quite interesting now. I mean, she's in sixth form college, but even now she goes out with friends, and I've seen her been out wherever she's been for the day, and she's come back in and went, oh, I saw this crystal and thought you would like it, or I saw this and thought you would like it, and brings me these little things home now. So it kind of stuck with her, I think.
Yeah. I mean, when you did your radio show, and hopefully you'll come back to it at some point, did you cover all sorts of, well, a bit like my show, you cover all sorts of the paranormal, did you?
Yeah, used to speak about really anything as long as it was paranormal related. I've been lucky to interview some really interesting people. One of my favourite guests, and he is a good friend, is Mark Muncy, who is in Florida. He's written 3 books now, I believe.
Right.
I believe he's written 3 books now. Eerie Florida, Freaky Florida. Florida's a really dark place.
Yeah, I know it quite well. I used to
It's a very dark
place.
But that's the thing, when you think in Florida, you think in all beaches and sunshine and happy days, and it's got a really dark side to it. But he is a good friend, and he's such a brilliant man to interview, and he's so interesting. So
I might have to
you
have a little look
should.
and see if I can get him on, if he's with
You
us.
should. You would have a great show. He's so interesting.
Last week's show, I had Kelvin Parker on again for his second round.
Wow.
I had him on before, and then he was telling me about he was really interested in I've forgotten the word now. Regression, sorry, not transgression. I think the transgression. Regression.
Yeah.
Yeah, regression, because he was regressed quite, a couple of times. And quite lately with Kathleen Marden as well. And I've got Kathleen Marden coming on in a couple of shows' time again to talk about the Kelvin Parker regression as well. So that should be interesting. Plus she's got a new book coming out. But yeah, I've had quite a few good guests, including yourself now, on this show too. But,
this is the thing, you do find that out doing shows like this, I mean, you found yourself, David, you talk to all sorts of interesting people.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
And you get so many different views on different things.
Well,
It's...
like I said when I started this show, I am learning as much as anybody out there who's listening to the guests, and this is the reason I like to do it, because I find I'm learning from it,
Yeah.
I'm not out there saying I'm an expert in anything, because I'm not an expert in anything, but
no.
I don't think there are any real experts out there. Anyone that calls themselves an expert, I think is either deluded or lying, because
I think there are people who are highly, highly knowledgeable.
Yeah, sure, that's right. I agree with you.
In their part of the field. I mean, there's people who have studied for years and years and years, and all respect to them. But I've never ever called anybody an expert.
No, because otherwise you've got the answers to absolutely everything then that an expert has, in most fields. But I don't think anyone's really got the answers to everything in the paranormal world. It goes for UFOs and everything.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, it's such a vast subject. It's covering that. It's you can't possibly learn everything about everything. It's impossible. The subject is far too huge.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can be an expert in history, geography, things like that, because there's an end result where you can prove what you've the knowledge you've got. But with the paranormal, there's nothing you can really prove, is there?
Well, this is
to a certain extent.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's very much an unproven science, if you want. It's, for lack of a better word, I'll use the word that. It's a kind of unproven thing. There's so many people believe in it, and there's so many people who are sceptical of it, but it's still unproven.
I think the thing is, you prove it to yourself, don't you? And then you become the believer. You don't, not a believer such. You become the fact that you know something.
Yeah.
But then trying to pass that on to somebody else is not always that easy, because they've not had that same experience that you've had. So
exactly, that's the thing. I mean, people have so many different personal experiences. And there's people go, well, you can't really count that as a personal experience. It's just a personal experience. That personal experience could change their whole view. So it does count. It does count. Whether they can prove it or not, it does matter and it does count.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about my friend with the drawing the picture. Whether he then became, well, now I've got to believe in spiritualism as well, because they came out and gave me the answer to that, what I was drawing on that piece of paper. So,
Yeah.
you know, whether it did actually change his attitude, I don't know, but that's kind of the only evidence that you can show, isn't it? It's a lot of the time when something happens.
I have been, since I was about 2021, I get what I call, dream visits from spirit. And I've had them all these years. So it's very easy for me to believe, because I know the very real difference between a dream and a dream visit. They're completely different. So it's very easy for me to believe in a spirit world, because it's just something I've always believed. I can't explain why. It's just always been my view from a small child that this is our world and that's their world, and we all just kind of intermingle. We're just not aware.
These dream visits, are there people that you've known, or?
I've had people I've known, people that I have barely known, people I haven't known. I've had guides come through that way. I've had different things happen and really, really strange experiences. I remember I had a dream about a lady, and she looked very, very young, and she had dark hair, long dark hair. And she looked very young, and she went, I just popped in to say hello, and to let you know that I'm okay. And she went, here's a cup of tea, and she gave me a cup of tea and she gave me a packet of cigarettes and disappeared. It was the weirdest thing. But I knew this lady was called Sue. I'd only ever met her through a friend when she had been in hospital. When she was in hospital, she was in a coma. So I'd never physically spoken to her. But she came back as her younger self to let me know she was okay. It was very bizarre.
Yeah,
don't know why she gave me the cigarettes, though.
It's strange that somebody you don't know, you've hardly even spoken to actually, well, not spoken to at all in that case. Yeah, weird. That is strange.
I've had a lady that I was on holiday with come through in a dream visit, and the way she came through is exactly the way she was in real life. She was full of energy and so bouncy, and she literally just came bouncing into the dream.
What? So
the way she.
So you hadn't known that she had died, I presume, is that right?
No.
So presumably, sorry, when you get your dream visit, so she must have actually passed on, but coming to message you in your dream, I see.
Yeah.
But did you verify that she had died, or did you not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Wow, that is strange.
Yeah.
And very interesting.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Oh, right. So
it's nice though. It's a nice way for them to communicate.
Oh, sure, yeah, it is. It's do you actually remember your dreams very vividly, or? Yeah.
Yeah.
I hardly ever remember any of my dreams.
I've always kept a dream journal, but I went through a phase for a couple of months, I wasn't really dreaming about anything. But now I've gone back in the opposite way, which is my dreams have become very, very vivid again. So I'm back to keeping a dream journal again.
Oh, right. My wife says, she says, who were you fighting with last night? She was a kid. And I said, I don't know. But, what about, so obviously do you believe in, well, you must believe in hauntings and ghosts and things if you've been on your paranormal visits. Have you ever experienced anything, outstanding in that field?
Outstanding. It's hard to explain. When I'm on an investigation, when the atmosphere changes, I'm quite sensitive to that. I'm very sensitive to that. And that's when I will pay more attention. But what I tend to find is my absolutely favourite thing is EVPs. And I never get to check them at the time. I always have to do it when I come home. But my EVPs, going into different locations, I've been into locations who other teams have been into and they've had an absolutely fantastic time and they've had lots of activity, and I went in and it was really flat. and I didn't really like it. But you get good and bad nights, this is the thing, wherever you go.
That's right, yeah. So you've had some interesting EVPs, have you?
Yeah, I love my EVPs. I would be quite happily just go to an investigation with just a torch and an EVP recorder.
Right. An EVP out there, you get voices, don't you, coming over? And,
Yeah.
It might say one or two words, and
Sure.
you don't really get any sentences as such, do you? But you do get the odd word here and there, from my experience.
Yeah.
Just in case anyone out there is wondering what EVPs are.
Yeah. But no, that's my thing, EVPs.
Yeah, no, it is interesting, I must say. I've got to say, I've never really tried the EVPs. I mean, I've heard other people's and seen some on the TV and everything, but
Yeah.
So you're not really into like the meters and whatever, the little light meters and things.
The thing is, I absolutely hate K2s. I just don't see the point in K2s whatsoever. They're just plastic, flashy, lighty boxes.
Yeah.
And they're set off by almost anything. I've never got on with K2s, so I've gave those away.
Yeah.
My SB11, I did like it for a little while, but then I found it's just so noisy and irritating. I prefer, do you know, this is the thing, I would prefer, if I was going into a location, rather than having tons and tons of equipment with you, have a torch, have an EVP recorder, have a camera or a camcorder with you, set up trigger objects, play music from that era, do other things to get the activity rather than lots and lots of different pieces of equipment.
Yeah, I have to say though, with K2s, I've had some interesting results though. Because
Lots of people have, I just do not go on with them.
I live fairly near Redlesham Woods, and it's quite well known for activities, you probably know. We've actually had a K2 meter in the woods, or two meters, and I've actually seen one go off to, go fully up to red, while the other one wasn't. That one went back down to 0, and the other one went up to red. And they were right next to each other. So that was quite an experience. We had the same thing with torches actually. A torch came on and then went off. And I know that the other torch went, as the other went off, the other torch came on. So that was quite an experience, as well. That was a few years back.
Yeah.
But,
I like doing those kind of strange things like putting lots of coins down in talcum powder and trigger objects, and I mean, I do all sorts of things. I take loads of crystals with me and playing cards, and I put the crystals on top of the playing cards and just dot them around the place to see if anything moves and tell them they can move this, you can do that, you can do this.
And now, have you had experience of that they've moved?
Yeah.
You have had results from
that?
Oh, right.
Into Grey Street, I remember we went into, there's a room called the office, and there was this big kind of desk thing, and it's upstairs. I went in there with another investigator. We'd laid down lots and lots of coins and talcum powder, and we'd said we'd left it, and we left the room, just sealed off the room completely. But we'd taken lots of photos of it as we'd laid it out, and then we went away. When we went back about an hour or so later, there's lots of tiny little fingerprints in it. Oh. Like a child's fingerprints. So I like doing stuff like that.
That's interesting. Oh. It
worked that night.
Yeah, no, it's actually, I've actually seen the things laid out like that in some of the ones I've been on, but I've not actually seen anything, that it's not resulted in anything, nothing's kind of happened that I've seen anyway.
I'm a big believer in playing music. Playing music from the time, or from the era or when activity was at its peak, if you like. If I can get music, we will play it. We've been in the ancient ramen, and we've played hymns. I believe at one point I walked into what I believe was the witch's room, and somebody was playing chanting. All sorts of things like that.
Oh, right.
Just try different things.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned cameras and photography. Now, how do you feel about when people take pictures of orbs and things like that? We all know about the dust argument and everything like that, but
this is the thing with orbs. You get people that go, "There's no such thing as orbs." 99% of the time, it is an insect, it's moisture, it's dust, it's pollen, it's 101 other things, but it's not an orb. But there's still that 1% that are orbs. I do believe that.
Yeah, I believe that too.
But you do have to discredit quite a lot of them. Because movement triggers dust floats in the air, somebody takes a picture, someone sneezes or coughs, there's moisture in the air and that causes it as well. Lots of things.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of mentioned Rendlesham Woods again. You do get quite a lot of activity with orbs down there. And it's not dust, because I mean, I've taken loads and loads of pictures. There was one sequence I took, I think it was about 7 pictures. 6 of them came out black. But the one, I think it was in the middle, had loads of orbs in it, like a mass. Now you'd think one after the other within a few seconds, if it was moisture or dust, it'd have been in every picture,
Yeah.
But all the others were completely black. So, unless all of a sudden there was a sudden gust of moisture or dust or something, within that picture. But
I went to Stonehenge with a good friend of mine, and she's also an investigator, Sarah Colt-Harkey. We went there with her and her husband for summer solstice this year. I did lots of lives, I'd done videos, we were taking lots and lots and lots of pictures, I mean literally hundreds of pictures. And all the way through, Dave, the pictures are absolutely fine. I've got this one picture and it's just the strangest thing, it just doesn't look normal. It's all dull and kind of almost like a mist over it.
Yeah, that's right. You do get like the mists, and there were shapes in the mist as well, don't you?
It made no sense whatsoever, and I thought, oh, what happened there? But we've been standing taking lots of pictures at the time, so can't explain that.
And obviously,
the energy.
I don't know if you must have heard of Brenda Butler. She takes loads of good pictures like that.
Yeah.
And she does actually seem to draw things to her as well. Well, she's used my camera. She says, if I say to her, use my camera, she'll get something, whereas I don't. Or she'll tell you there's activity over there, and you take pictures and you get these orbs. I've seen one orb, I think one or two, with my bare, sort of, normally you can't see them, can you? But I've seen one red orb, before now. She said, oh, did you see that? And I said, yeah, I saw that too. So.
Well, one of the things I do like to do, I was actually asked about this last night during the conversation. Someone was talking about taking pictures on investigations. And Brian, a friend of mine, turned around and said to me, Caz, are you still taking pictures over your shoulder? Because if I feel like there's something behind me, instead of turning around, I'll just put the camera over my shoulder and take it that way. And I went, yeah, I've always done that.
Yeah, you do get that sense that someone's following you or from behind, don't you? I've had that sense as well, walking around the woods.
Yeah, you sense someone's standing behind you, then instead of turning around and it goes away, I find it's better just to put the camera over your shoulder and take pictures that way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't sense that I've got any sort of, I don't know, supernatural powers or anything like that, but I think we've all got that in us that we do sense things, don't we? I think we all do that. You can sense an atmosphere in a room, for instance.
I think everyone's got gifts. The problem being it's, as a child, you're wide open to everything, but as you grow up, you learn to follow society's rules and society's ways, and this is normal, this isn't, blah, blah, blah. You get kind of conditioned into following a certain way of living.
Yeah, sure.
And yet then you get some people like myself and many others that I know who are just the complete opposite.
Yeah. I mean, did you have any childhood experiences or happenings?
When I was a teenager, I remember my dad, my dad was the only son. He had 5 sisters, bless him. But being the boy of the family and his father had passed, he had this the old-fashioned suitcases that you used during the war with the 2 little straps.
Well, not actually, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Not that old.
But he had one of those, and it was full of old black and white family photos
right,
and things like that. But it also had an envelope oh God, it's horrible, with my great-grandfather's hair in it.
Oh, right.
He'd been killed in the war, and there was this envelope with the hair in it. But anyway, where we lived, I remember I was a teenager, and I'd woke up. I've been waking up quite a few times that week. I felt like I was choking. I felt like my bedroom was full of smoke and I was choking, and I kept waking up. I didn't smoke at the time, in fairness. But that weekend I had went out with my friend, and I'd called at home to tell my mum and dad that I was staying with my friend that night. We'd been babysitting, and that was fine. And my dad was in the background. I said, "Can you put my dad on, Mum?" And Dad came on. I went, "Do me a favour." And I went, "Yeah." I went, "That suitcase with all the photos and stuff in it is in my bedroom. Can you get it out of my bedroom?" And he went, "That isn't in your bedroom." I said, "It is in my bedroom." I went, "I keep feeling like I'm choking. I'm sure it's in my bedroom." He went, "It isn't in your bedroom." And I went, "Right, fine." So I've gone home the next day, and my dad just walked past me, didn't say a word. My mum was standing kind of giggling. I went, "What are you giggling at?" And she went, "Your dad moved that suitcase out of your room."
Oh, right.
So it was in my room, but he was trying to convince me it wasn't.
I mean, I'll tell you that I had a childhood experience. I mean, I've mentioned it a few times on this show, so excuse me out there if you've heard this one before. When I was very, very young, I was staying in my cot, and I can remember standing at the side of my cot. I was living in London at the time. We shared a house. There was an old lady downstairs, and we had like the upstairs. I can remember waking up screaming and seeing this purple mist swirl around the room. It swirled around the room towards me, and I can remember, in a baby way, I was probably about, I don't know, 15, 18 months or something. I wasn't all that old, but I think I was just about talking, you know. And I remember my dad coming in and, you know, seeing what's the matter, what you're screaming, that sort of thing. And I'm trying to say to him about this purple mist flying around the room, and he couldn't see it, but I could see it. And I can remember it swirling around and then swirling back out the door again. Yeah, that always stayed with me, that memory. And I've asked about if it had any any meanings, like a purple mist being, you know.
I've seen that.
Oh, you have? Yeah, I don't know what it means, but apparently it means something, a purple mist, but
we were in a circle. Well, some people describe it as purple, some people have described it as grey, kind of greyish, purplish mist. And when I've seen it, it's had a kind of purple hue through it. But we were all in a circle at an investigation, actually. And we're all doing this work in a big circle. And you could see this mist, and it was building and building and building. It was the energy building up.
Right.
Which was interesting. That was with another team. I'd gone along with another team.
Oh, right. Anyway, I mean, after this, I did ask my dad. I mean, he's passed away about quite a few years ago now. But I asked him sort of later when I was sort of old enough, you know, like in my teens and that. I said to him, "Do you remember about that purple mist?" And he said, "Yeah, I do remember you screaming about that." And I said, "Yeah, I wonder what that was." And now, it was then that I was told around about that time, the old lady that lived downstairs, she had died around about that time. Now, I don't actually remember her myself because I was too young.
Okay.
But I kind of wondered if maybe that was the lady downstairs, you know, having a last look around the house or something before passing on. I don't know. You know, it's.
You never know, David. That's the thing. You can't.
Yeah. I mean, I actually don't know. Unfortunately, there was no way of linking any dates or anything to it. You know, that's.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things that. And also, I never knew my grandparents, so it could have been my granddad that, you know, coming in and saying hello or something. But I know it's scary. But the thing is, what always stuck with me, I was a baby, I was a young child, I didn't know what ghosts and things were. All I know is this purple mist scared me. Well, it scared me, yeah, it really scared me, because it stayed with me, you know, that's why I always remembered it. So.
See, I've always been a great believer that children are wide open to spirit when they're little. And I've got 5 kids, so I've had my fair share of weird experiences with them, more so my son than any of my daughters, but I think it's kind of important never to turn around and say, no, that's not true to them. Do you know what I mean? Don't just dismiss them, kids, when they say things like that. Just ask if they want to talk about it. If they don't, and it's just a passing comment from them, then just watch how that goes.
Yeah. So I know my dad, he did remember me, so it must have stuck with him as well.
It was actually a lady said to me the other night, that she has a young child, and she had a baby monitor, and I've experienced that before with my children, hearing someone shushing the baby when the baby's crying over the baby monitor and there's nobody else there.
Oh right, yeah, no, that was in a film I saw the other day actually. There was noise.
Really?
Funny enough, there was these two people with the baby monitor and there was some talking on the baby monitor and they're sort of looking at each other thinking, who the hell's that? I think what film it was now. I think it was on Sky. Anyway, yeah, we digress. But
I've actually seen investigators take baby monitors to investigations, and I thought that's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, well, why not? I mean, if it's in a different room, you never know, do you?
Exactly.
I suppose they're as good as anything.
Yeah.
But, I suppose in the last sort of few minutes we've got, what about UFOs? Have you in interest or that? Because I mean, that's kind of where my, I don't say speciality.
Yeah.
But where I kind of got into all this really is from like UFOs. Although I've always been interested in ghosts and the paranormal anyway.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I find it fascinating. I believe, to me, I think it'd be pretty arrogant to assume that we're the only intelligent life around. I don't see why beings can't visit from other planets. I don't see why that's a problem to some people, but I believe in them.
Yeah. Well, the way I see it, I mean, if you've got civilizations that are out there, there could be millions of years in advance of us, so there's no reason why they couldn't be flying all around the universe, you know. But also there's the aspect of the reason I called this show Paranormal Dimensions, I believe that there's different dimensions they come from as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just extraterrestrial, but different dimensional aspects.
Well, can I ask you a question
Sure,
then?
we can try. I mean, I'll try and answer. I don't know everything.
kind of UFO related, maybe not.
Yeah.
Right. One thing that does completely fascinate me is that, and I watch for them every year when crop circles turn up. Now, I know there's a lot of crop circles, 99% of them are man-made. But some of them are so intricate and large. Who's making them?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think probably most of them are faked. But
Yeah,
I think I've also heard that the government have got an agency that fake them because to cover up the real ones. Now, whether there's any truth in that, I don't know. I do know of somebody that I have actually met recently, somebody that actually was done for doing, and I think he's the only bloke that has ever been done for doing crop circles. But I mean, I'll leave him nameless. But
I can't remember the whole story, but I know my ex-husband swears he saw a UFO.
Yeah, I mean, I actually do believe some of them are real.
Yeah.
The thing is, you see, they're not just in this country; they're all over the world. So you've got to have a faking, I don't know, a faking club all over the world, haven't you? In each sort of, I don't know, not city, but certainly in each country that are doing these fakes. And you'd think that do they get together and say, "Oh, we're going to fake these certain, I don't know, crop circles now," and so we can all
you do this weekend and I'll do next weekend.
There's so many countries that have these things that exist that happen, and also when you look back in the ancient past, like in South America, obviously all the things that could only be seen from space. Yeah, is there a connection there? You know, because it's well, not from space, I should say, from the air when they used to make all these shapes and circles and things. Is there some sort of connection that's still carried on? You know,
I believe there is civilizations that are well ahead of us. Technology-wise.
Well, it has to be. Yeah, there's got to be.
There has to be. It just doesn't make any logical sense for there not to be. And I think there's too much proof that from the past that these things happen, but I also have this belief that government covers all these things up because they think we can't handle it.
Yeah, I mean, when we say government, we don't mean people like Tony Blair
Yeah.
and that. We're talking about people that are far higher and all.
Far higher
Tony
than
Blair,
that.
where did he come from? I mean, you know, like...
God, he's not back, is he?
Yeah, actually he's trying to, I think, but...
Oh, God.
No, but I mean, our Boris Johnson, far above the Boris Johnson level, and, you know, they're like the secret governments that, people like David Icke talk about.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the world is full of big secrets.
Yeah.
Vatican
like
City,
the top of
UFOs.
the pyramid, as he talks about.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
it's all, I believe there's many things that are known about that we aren't told about. I believe that.
Yeah. I'll tell you,
there are people far higher.
I do actually think there's been an awful lot been trickling out though over the last year or so with all these reports, and it seems to be on the television every day now.
Yeah.
If you're paying attention, that is anyway. Not so much on normal terrestrial TV. I'm talking about a lot of the satellite shows. There's so many things that there seem to be like a slow disclosure going on about UFOs,
Yeah.
but.
I was really looking forward to it. I know it was set up as a joke, but remember when that guy set up the post on Facebook about storming Area 51?
Oh yeah, I mean...
Oh, that was so funny. I just had visions of all these people turning up trying to storm Area 51, and I'm thinking, but it's not there anymore, there's nothing there, it's all been moved.
Well, yeah, I mean, and also, if they did really try, there'd be a lot of deaths as well, if they tried something like that. I mean,
But would they? This is the thing, would the military actually shoot them?
Well, yeah, I suppose...
If there was thousands of them, would they actually do that?
They probably knew it would never happen in the first place anyway.
Yeah, probably.
You know, they know there's going to be a few nutters that will turn up and that'll be it, you know, which they did, in the actual fact.
Yeah.
I don't think there was I think it was about 100 people turned up, wasn't there? I don't know. And, most of those were pretty weird. Sorry out there if you did turn up, but, but, I mean, it certainly was a bit of a damp squid at the very least.
In fairness, if I had the airfare, I would have joined in.
Yeah.
Just for the hell of it.
Just for the laugh, yeah, just to go out and see what did happen. But, yeah, I didn't think anything had happened with that anyway, but...
No, but I didn't either, but I just thought it's just so funny.
But it's probably like you say, I mean, anything that was at Area 51 is probably long gone by now, and it's probably elsewhere, way underground somewhere or something, you know. I do believe that probably something was there at some point, and probably on other bases around the world, and not just in America.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we do hear that there's been things in Russia and stuff like that as well, but you know,
and there's so many different sightings and things that have been seen, and I feel kind of sorry for the people. I mean, like Area 51, Rendlesham, but I feel bad because there's this kind of disbelief. And I actually feel bad for them being disbelieved.
Yeah. I mean, I believe
people.
because I've seen. I mean, I saw one when I was
I believe them.
very, very young, sitting on the steps and watching a star moving and stopping and moving.
Yeah.
And also in '67, I saw a big orange oval object going across the night sky. So I do know they exist. You know. And I think it's like I was saying before. You need your own experience to become that, not just a believer but a knower. You know.
I like to kind of keep the way I kind of like to work it is the way I see it, anything is possible. Until somebody can prove to me otherwise, then I'll just go along with anything is possible. Because there's just too many. We live in we have a great world, but we have a very strange world with lots of things that we don't understand.
Yeah. I think you're right. Anything is possible, but don't believe everything.
Exactly.
That's probably the way
don't believe everything.
That's probably the way to look at it, you know.
It's not believing everything, it's just show me proof of that. Yeah, sure. Show me that. Show me something that puts me in that direction, then.
Yeah, be a skeptic, but be open to it. You know. That's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, Caz, I think that's kind of the end of it now, and thank you very much for coming on. It's been very interesting talking to you. Hope you've enjoyed it.
I have absolutely loved it, David. Thank you.
I hope you get to do your shows again. As I say, have a chat with my network, the Paranormal UK radio network. They may well have a spot open for you. They might sack me and bring you in.
I don't think they would be doing that, David. Can't see that happening.
You never know. Anyway, Caz, it's been lovely speaking to you. Thanks for coming on, and I'll let you know when the show goes. I think it's not this Monday, but the Monday after. I'll send you a link and everything for it. And
Fantastic.
And if anyone wants to get in touch with you about anything, you got a email address or something you want to read out?
If they want to get in touch with me, they can contact me at entityseekersuk@outlook.com, and I also have my Facebook group, which is called the Entity Seeker UK.
There you go, and I'll put a link on my Paranormal Dimensions Facebook page for you as well about that.
Fantastic, thank you.
Anyway, cheers, Caz, and I'll speak to you again soon. Stay in touch.
You too, David.
Cheers.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And thank you everyone for listening. You've been listening to Paranormal Dimensions. I'm David Young on the Paranormal UK Radio Network. Bye-bye.
Paranormal Dimensions is as bright and powerful as our celestial star, the sun. And although it's expending thousands of pounds of energy every minute of the day, have no fear. There's plenty left.
Paranormal Dimensions is a regular feature on Mondays on the Paranormal UK Radio Network.